What's up, guys? It's Jay, MorninAfterKill, and with Borderlands Remastered looking like it's on the way for PC, PS4, and Xbox One sometime in the foreseeable future, it looks like that we're gonna be given a chance to go back and enjoy that classic game that we all know and love. And I'm pretty sure a lot of us are sitting here and hoping that they don't change some of the things in the game that we love the most. And I'm pretty sure that we can all agree that Borderlands 1 wasn't perfect. Actually, no Borderlands game is, except for Tales from the Borderlands. That shit's fucking amazing. If you're a big Borderlands fan, I highly recommend that you actually give it a try. But I'm pretty sure that we can all agree that there are things that we love and hate about our favorite franchise. So what I wanted to do was count down my top 5 things that I would love to see added or changed in Borderlands 1 for the Remastered Edition. Now, before you go ahead and you throw that noose around my neck and you hang me at the gallows for even insisting on changing anything in the game, we all know that it's inevitable. It's a remaster. It's a remaster made by Gearbox. If it wasn't going to be changed, they would just re-release it right now. I mean, the coding on PC wouldn't be very hard for them to adapt to the next generation systems, since right now consoles are closer in architecture to PCs as they ever been in video game history. So while we hope for things like General Knox's farming glitch to not be fixed or changed, we can all agree that there are a few things that could use some attention inside of Borderlands 1. So let's go ahead and get into my top 5 wish list for Borderlands Remastered. Coming in at number 5, we have no fall damage. Wait, what? Now, this might come as a surprise because the Borderlands franchise didn't really come into its own until Borderlands 2 was released and it picked up majority of its fan base, and a lot of those players haven't played Borderlands 1, which is the exact reason that we're getting a remastered version of this game. But Borderlands 1 has fall damage. Now, while it's not a lot of fall damage, it's just something that should never be put into the game, especially since Borderlands 1 has some areas where you're pretty high and, you know, jumping off down below to beat up some enemies. It's not only exciting, it's pretty much one of the things that's like one of the most fun parts about Borderlands is that you can just do ridiculously amazing shit, like jump off a huge cliff, do a 360 and have Brick go, "God damn, I love you, Slab!" For that reason, it's number 5. No fall damage. Now, coming in at number 4, we have more fast travels. Now, this is one of the things on my list for the Borderlands pre-sequel as well, which is pretty odd because it came out after Borderlands 2, and Borderlands 2 is probably one of the best fast travel systems I've ever seen. Not just in Borderlands, but in RPGs in general. Borderlands 2's fast travel is absolutely amazing. Except for the Wildlife Slaughterdome DLC not being on the list. It's just one exception, and I don't really know why it didn't, but whatever. But in Borderlands 1 and Borderlands the pre-sequel, one of the biggest faults is the lack of fast travels to areas, and it makes some of the stretches of the game very slow and pacing, and, you know, it hides some of the better mobbing areas out of reach since it takes too long to even travel there, and then when it's time to travel back, even if you save and quit, it's gonna load you into the area that you don't want to be in, and you just gotta do a long, arduous process of traveling back to where you want to go, and it makes you not want to go back to that area ever again, and that's a shame. Because there are some really cool areas in all 3 games. Could you imagine in Borderlands 2 if there was no Caustic Cavern fast travel and you had to travel to Three Horns Divide and go all the way to Sanctuary Hole and then travel to... Yeah, exactly. That's how the Borderlands pre-sequel and Borderlands 1s feel in some of the games. So I think a good rule of thumb right here would be if it has its own loading screen, it should have a fast travel. I think that's reasonable, right? Yeah, everybody here thinks that's reasonable? I don't. Hey! You shut the fuck up back there! So, we have number 3. A better end game. Now, I think it's funny that this is even on the list, because it's one of the things that made Borderlands 2 have such a great lifespan, and something that both the Borderlands pre-sequel and Borderlands 1 lack, for different reasons though. Borderlands 2 featured named enemies with specific drops, and people would farm them all day long trying to get the legendaries that they want. Borderlands 1's loot system is entirely random favoring a higher drop rate of random legendaries from any lootable source. Now, while the pre-sequel features the named enemies that have specific drops from Borderlands 2, they don't respawn. So, while in Borderlands 1 you can farm enemies like Rack Hive, General Knox, Bo and Marley, they all respawn, they don't really have anything worthwhile to farm for, so you're just farming for the fight. And while I like to see things like random box drops, you know, enemies dropping the legendaries that they spawned with and they're actually using against you, like if a badass bully comes up to you and he's using a Hellfire, in Borderlands 1, he dropped that fucking Hellfire. And I love seeing things like that, but while I love seeing things like that, I wouldn't mind to see maybe a few weapons added to some specific enemies' loot pools, and maybe like an even invincible version of these enemies. I mean, this is sacrilege. You guys are gonna hang me for this, but like, say Gearbox went ahead and they fixed Notch's armory glitch. I didn't say they should. I said let's put it on a hypothetical note that Gearbox does fix Nox's farming glitch. I wouldn't mind seeing an invincible version of General Knox and the ability to farm his armory after whooping that ass. I think that would be kind of like a fair compromise there, but I would like to see some more invincible versions of some of the cooler enemies inside of this game. So let's go ahead and move on to number 2. User interface upgrade. Now, this is a touchy subject here again, because I don't mind the actual inventory system for the weapons in Borderlands 1, but it's obvious that by looking at it, it's dated and will receive an update, especially the antiquated compass system at the bottom for navigating the game, especially if you've never played Borderlands 1. If you're a first timer to the game and you're used to the Borderlands 2 minimap, that compass at the bottom, you're gonna be like, ah! So, while there's room for improvement here, I have a fear that it's gonna come at the cost of seeing the entire weapon models in the game change to match Borderlands 2 and pre-sequel weapons. Since if you look at the difference between weapon design in Borderlands 1 compared to Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel, it's obvious that they're going to change the look of the gun to match the series, and I hope not, but it's going to happen. So while this is a double-edged sword of getting a cleaner and more familiar user interface for Borderlands fans to navigate, if it comes at the cost of the gun's models, design, their sound, and their handling, I'd rather just opt for the original minimap, especially if they bring weapon manufacturer gimmicks into Borderlands 1. One of my favorite things about Borderlands 1 is how simple and pure the guns are. So I really don't want to see that system come to Borderlands 1, but it looks like that it's going to be an actual inevitability, because it looks like that they're going to want to try to remaster Borderlands 1 so it matches, you know, the feel of Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel. Since both those games have guns that match throughout the system, it looks like that the loot system from Borderlands 2 and pre-sequel might come into Borderlands 1, and if it's at the cost of the user interface, I'd rather just see the regular interface stay, but we all know it's not. So, when we come to number 1 on the list, we've already looked at no fall damage, more fast travels, a better endgame, and a user interface upgrade. What else could you possibly want for Borderlands 1? New DLC, baby! Say, what? Well, it's Borderlands. While it makes no sense to ship this game without the original DLC, I think it would be the perfect time to fill in some of the blanks between the games. I mean, think about it. What's the number 1 DLC that fans want to see in Borderlands? Hell, what's the number 1 event that Borderlands fans want to witness? Fucking right! The fall of New Haven. How do you introduce Handsome Jack? He's one of the most important characters to the series, yet he makes 0 appearances in the first game. And while it looks like they're trying to take Borderlands 1 and match it to the rest of the series, how do you bring Handsome Jack into it? You bring out a DLC that features the exact characters from this game that were murdered by him in the sequel with his cronies from a game that was just released this year. All the maps, design, the coding, it all matches up, especially if they do what I said before, they build this game to match the Borderlands 2 design. Then it's pretty much all plug and play, including the fact that they have not only just one New Haven map, but they also have another New Haven map from the Zombie Island DLC. There's 2 iterations of New Haven. So yes, I do think that it's possible to see a Fall of New Haven DLC. And even though I know they're gonna Borderlands 2ify this game, at least they'll bring us the storyline that we all want to see. And hopefully, maybe there'll be an option in the game, like the Halo Master Chief Collection has, to where we can go ahead and play the original Borderlands 1 in all its entirety, with all the glitches and all the faults and all the guns the same, while still having the Borderlands 2ified version of Borderlands 1, because that's what it looks like they're gonna do. They're just gonna make Borderlands 1 match Borderlands 2 and a pre-sequel. And while I really feel like that might be a mistake, you guys can always go back and play the original Borderlands 1 if you don't like it. So, my name is Jay, MorninAfterKill. I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys rate, comment, subscribe. If you could leave a thumbs up on the video, I'd highly appreciate it, because it gives me motivation to make more videos for you motherfuckers that watch my motherfucking videos. This is just my top 5 things that I wish to see for Borderlands Remastered, and hopefully they don't change anything about the game and we just get a completely upgraded version with all the little shit in the game that really pissed everybody else off fixed, while leaving all the things that we really love about the game, like Notch's glitch fucking still intact in the game. But it looks like that we're gonna get a Borderlands 2ified version of Borderlands 1. Now, this is all speculation here. It could happen, it couldn't happen, but this is just what it looks like makes the most sense with how Gearbox is progressing with this series in the future. So, like I said, my name's Jay, MorninAfterKill. Thanks for watching, and I'm gonna see you guys later.